So we are about hours away from the Royal Rumble. Always makes it very hard to review SmackDown because people stop caring sooner than they usually, which I do understand. But also, I'm just going to be honest, I know, Simon, you're meant to be positive. Positivity isn't just saying you like everything. That's called being a ridiculous human being. It's just about being constructive and remembering that wrestling is the most important, the least important things. But the Royal Rumble build from the WWE, aside from Gunther versus AJ Styles, which I think has been very good, well, I don't think it's been on top of the game. And it really became relevant to me at the start of SmackDown because out comes Cody Rhodes, out comes Randy Orton, out comes Sami Zayn, out comes Jey Uso, and out comes the Vision. Basically to give you exposition. So everyone at the Royal Rumble was like, I need to win the Royal Rumble. And then Sami Zayn was like, well, I don't need to talk about the Royal Rumble, but I shall be facing Drew McIntyre for a world title. It was even madder because Sami said, I've never beaten Drew, I've never lost in Saudi Arabia, and of course I've never become a world champion. We should have been bigging that up for 2 weeks minimum, right? To get you really invested, like, oh wow, which direction is WWE going to go in? And I could be wrong, actually. I think WWE could pull a fast one. But as I sit here right now, I'm convinced that Drew McIntyre is going to win. And of course, in that match, they will get me to confuse myself, for lack of a better term. But I just think we could have gone in harder on that. And this Cody Rhodes situation, where they go into the facepalm stance, he got booed, right? As soon as he said, I want to win the Royal Rumble, right? Everyone's like, going, no, 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 no. All of a sudden, you get all this hot takes, I guess, on the internet. People are like, oh, we're going to turn Cody Rhodes heel. He was cheered during this. He was cheered so much during his entrance. He did the whole, come on, pro wrestler thing because he was so pumped up. They just don't want Cody Rhodes to win the Royal Rumble. Now, of course, they were booing Cody Rhodes, but they were also booing the fact they've clearly chosen somebody else. And Drew McIntyre got a massive pop, as did Sami Zayn, which is interesting. So I just think it's one of those crowds, and these kind of crowds are great. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, when fans decide in the right way, not when you try and take over the show, but they're going to cheer the people they like and not boo the people they don't like. I got that totally wrong. It just shakes it up a bit. It doesn't work when that happens all the time. We saw that 10 years ago where WWE would try and push people and the crowd weren't having it. But it's not time to turn Cody Rhodes heel just yet because 95% of crowds are still cheering him. This crowd cheer him. Now the time will come, but WWE has to plan it right. And the only reason you do it sooner than that, until you feel it in the air like the Lion King, is because it suits the story. So if WWE comes up with an amazing story and you go, you know what makes this work? And Cody Rhodes heel turn, then you do it. But at the moment, I just think it's people, or what they're doing, and it's a very frustrating thing in 2026, is you just clip that 35 seconds and you go, Cody Rhodes is getting booed. Whereas if you watch 5 minutes, like, no, he's not. He's over like Rover before. I just think it makes the show more fun. But yeah, it was a wrestling trope start. And I'm not saying I didn't like it, it was fine, but WWE is lucky that I'm excited, I'm sure you are, about the Royal Rumble because it's the Royal Rumble. But in terms of what they've done on TV, especially on the SmackDown before that PLE, for me personally, it didn't click. That's because Cody Rhodes says he wants to win the Royal Rumble. Maybe he'll take on Sami Zayn if he can beat Drew, or he can take on Drew, or he can take on CM Punk. Now, I don't think Cody is going to win the Rumble. Check out my predictions from the start of the week. But I do think we should do Cody versus CM Punk. I think it's more interesting than Roman versus Punk or Bron Breakker versus Punk. I think we should strike now before we do miss out. Then Randy Orton came out. And listen, I love Randy Orton. Legacy star, Hall of Famer, all-timer, brilliant. One of the crispest wrestlers in the world, whatever that means. And he starts saying, Cody, I respect you, but I'll throw your ass out of the Rumble if I have to become a champion. We have now been teasing Orton versus Cody Rhodes for 2 years. And if you've been watching my videos for all that time, which I massively appreciate, you know I've been desperate for this. So when this was going on, I was like, well, I get it, why you'd put these two together, but I don't believe in it anymore, so that's sad. When Jey Uso came out, I was pumped. Have him win the Royal Rumble. I'm all for meltdowns in my later years. And the Sami Zayn thing was good, but again, it just felt like it was all crushed together, as did Paul Heyman coming out saying, Bron Breakker is going to be the champion of the world. Don't worry about that. When Nick Aldis comes out and says, well, hi, I don't have a main event, so this is my main event. That annoys me on a nerd level too. Happened twice during this show. It happened with Charlotte, Alexa, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez. What was meant to be in that slot? That main event went 25 minutes. 25 minutes. And this opening segment, oh my gosh, it went long. I don't mind opening long segments at all. But when you are talking in catchphrases and you're just like, Royal Rumble, Royal Rumble, I actually have something in my eye. I shouldn't have done that. It just didn't work for me. Now, I'm always going to caveat this because there are a lot of people going nuts on the internet. I'm not actually mad about it. And if you had a good time, man, I'm so damn happy because you invested your entertainment hours into this. But when it got to the end, I was like, there was a lot of star power in that opening segment. And it's just left me feeling a little bit cold, which is a massive shame. And I think WWE just hasn't really doubled down on the Royal Rumble enough to sell this idea. Well, what's going to happen between these two guys? And what's going to happen with these two guys? That's why we had Cody and Randy going at it again, because they're meant to be buddies. And it's reminding you it's every man for himself, unless you're Charlotte and Alexa. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. But I just think WWE can have more fun with this. And it's still so crazy. Sometimes they fall into these wrestling tropes, and then you'll get a match like Johnny Gargano versus Axiom, and the finish is really fun. We'll jump there just quickly so you do get my example. But basically, we did the stereotypical, oh my gosh, Johnny Gargano's pulled the mask off Axiom. But because the feud has been about the stolen mask, that one was in the ring, Axiom then remasked himself, hit the Ghost Radio 1, 2, 3. This isn't going to win any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, novel prizes. But it was just a nice way, it was a nice spin on what you thought was going to happen. And that's all wrestling needs to be. Just think outside the box a little bit, as opposed to all your big stars coming out of the show going advert, promotion. So that was a nice 180. Let's just talk about Charlotte and Alexa now, because then we can divvy up into the Women's Rumble too. It's just so many logic holes with it. And listen, I like logic holes in pro wrestling because they make me laugh, right? They think they're the best thing ever. But that doesn't mean every single time they don't hit you in the face and you're like, oh no, back to face emoji starts. Because Charlotte comes out and says, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble and Alexa Bliss is going to watch my back. And Alexa Bliss goes, wait a minute, but I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, Charlotte, you're meant to watch my back. You haven't had this conversation in the back. You just like, what did you discuss? What promo we do? Oh, Lexi, we've got a 20-minute promo. Let's see, what are we going to talk about? I'll tell you when I'm out there. Also, we all know it's every man, woman for themselves. And it was so weird because just before this, you had Rhea Ripley and Io Sky being like, you know what? You know, we're the tag team champions, but it is every woman for herself. We fought before, we'll fight again, but we'll be friends. Now I get it. The counterpoint to this is that Charlotte and Alexa aren't really friends. They're just allies of convenience. And the cool thing is the payoff is going to rule. I think either Alexa turns on Charlotte or Charlotte turns on Alexa. They will throw each other out of the Royal Rumble. Then we get to that match at WrestleMania. I think I talked about this in the predictions. I'd have Alexa Bliss as the heel just because it's been so long. I quite like Charlotte in this Ashley role, I call it. I hate using wrestlers' real names because what a dickhead I am. But she feels more like her real self is what I do mean. And when you go back to, I think it was 2018, it could be 2016. Time moves so fast. But Alexa Bliss was the heel in a feud with Nia Jax. Nia Jax was great and Alexa Bliss was great, so she knows what she's doing. But I was just like, this doesn't make sense. You know what the Royal Rumble is. Also, your friendship has always been an absolute nightmare. I guess that's another reason you can justify it. Anyway, out come Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez. Liv loves this. She's going to take advantage, which she probably should do. And then, yes, Nick Aldis makes an impromptu match, and it was the exact same finish. That's the other issue I have with WWE at the moment. Issue's way too strong. A thing that I'm sometimes like, I wouldn't have done it that way. But again, what do I know? Stephanie McCare stops Raquel Rodriguez, Sister Abigail, 1, 2, 3. Then you get to the main event, and how does it finish? Disqualification, which is exactly how Raw finished, exactly how SmackDown last week finished. And after a while, even if you aren't consciously aware of it, subconsciously, you're like, man, there's just so much interference and so much distraction and so much confusion, you start to expect it. I never think you want to start to expect it. You don't want the outlier to be a proper match 1, 2, 3 win. If we jump forward to that sort of multi-man tag at the end, really fun because they're all so good at professional wrestling, it's ridiculous. But Sami Zayn may not win later at the Royal Rumble. Cody may not win. Jey may not win. Bronson Reed, good grief. I would have given the win to Bronson Reed because he beat Roman Reigns and we've done nothing, which I don't understand. But whoever is not going to be standing tall on a Saturday night in Saudi Arabia Royal Rumble, just give them the win here. Drew McIntyre could have come in afterwards and beat up Sami Zayn. And I did like the fact that, Drew beat up Sami. So Jacob beat up Drew. So Cody started beating up Jacob when Cody was going for somebody. Anyway, it ended with Sami Zayn hitting the haluva kick on Drew McIntyre, which may be a sort of forward-thinking thing, what's going to happen later. Then Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes both hold the belt because wrestlers love doing that, and Bron Breakker spears both of them. Bron Breakker, who's number 1 in the Rumble, by the way, that came up on the screen when Axiom came out for Axiom. I was so happy. That is so funny. I saw some people melting down, spoiled it. I can't believe they spoiled. It was an accident. I hope nobody gets in trouble. Somebody pushed the wrong button. You could argue it's going to be on WWE Unreal, but if that's how they're putting the wool over our eyes, my gosh, it's lame. I shouted out Matthew on Ups and Downs. I'm going to shout out Matthew here too. Cannot wait to see what he does with that. He'll have a field day. It does tie into something else, actually, that I'll talk to you about in just 1 second. But yeah, it was fun, the main event. You could enjoy it. But when you have that DQ finish, and when the last 2 minutes was Cody throws at this guy, Cody gets thrown out, just the commentators could go, well, can you believe it? If that happens at the Royal Rumble, they're going to be eliminated. It's like, that's how you're promoting it? With visual cues? Fine. Because there may be somebody brand new watching, but I think we need the emotion injected in there as well. I'm being a little bit too harsh here for effect, but I was watching this episode of SmackDown laughing out loud. I don't understand why it's so crazy and why we're doing all this nut stuff. I still think it's going to be Liv Morgan that wins the Rumble, and even Roman Reigns or Bron Breakker. Although, you know what? Let's talk about Roman and Brock. So let me just squeeze in all these things I promised to talk to you about. I keep forgetting. You can tell I'm a little bit ragey today. But we saw the clip of Brock Lesnar declaring for the Royal Rumble on the Pat McAfee show. My God, the pain in my stomach from laughing at this. Brock Lesnar ran in the Pat McAfee show, and Pat McAfee goes, wow, it's Brock Lesnar. Why are you here, Brock? Are you going to be in the Rumble? And Brock goes, yep, I'm in. And then Pat goes, there's a lot of young people in that Royal Rumble. And Brock goes, well, I'm in shape. I'm in. And Pat goes, you sure? And Brock goes, yep, I'm in shape. I'm in. Like, this is meant to make me want to see Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. Tears, man. So in many ways, it was the greatest segment of all time. Just so lazy. I'm not saying WWE's being lazy. Of course, they all bust their ass all of the time. But it felt lazy. Like Roman Reigns getting video packages. Man, Roman went off yesterday too. You can check that out. But yeah, then it was the same thing with Damian Priest, right? This ties into the Bron Breakker being number one. I don't think he will be anymore. I think WWE has made a mistake and they're going to change it. But Damian Priest walks in, grabs his ball, and he's not happy with his Royal Rumble number. He gets sad. No one else did this. Now, I may have missed something. I went back and sort of zoomed through it again because I'm like, have I made a mistake here? But it can't be more than two. One person picked their Royal Rumble number. Why have we been doing this for weeks with people coming in? I just don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. It's like before this show, they're like, we have to do everything, all right? Do we have time? We don't have time. Just let Damian Priest do it. Damian Priest can act sad, right? Damian Priest can act sad. And then Bron Breakker number one. I don't think WWE should change plans, by the way. If Bron Breakker is down for number one, let him run the gambit and win the whole thing. We're trying to get the guy over, right? It's a who cares? It's a funny thing that happened. It's not the end of the world. It's wrestling. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. So I hope WWE doesn't change tack and put him in at number two. No, number one. Always annoyed me as well. Somebody won from number two once. Who the flub was that? And it wasn't treated the same. I was like, number one and two are the same. It makes no difference if you're number one or two and you last the whole time. And Flair was 3 in 1992. Thinks he should be given more love as well. Well, 2 minutes. Oh no, worst person ever. It probably was an actual 2 minutes. We should go back and time it. So a lot of strange things happening. But yeah, the announcements of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns couldn't have been done in a more, efficient way, but also no creativity. We can't have Roman on one show. We can't fly Brock in from his farm in Saskatchewan just to tell him he's going to do this and flatten someone. That's what he does all the time. I don't know what Roman's going to do. And that interview yesterday, I'll let you watch it for yourself because he's probably working too, and I don't want to be that guy. But I think Brock Lesnar and Gunther probably sort of start their WrestleMania match after maybe Gunther's retired AJ Styles, which I'll talk about next. As for Roman, he's either winning it or he's making it to the final two, I guess. But then does that tie into his WrestleMania match? He's got to beat Bronson Reed at some point, you'd have imagined. It's all so strange. But yes, the best thing by a mile, because it's got real stakes to it, is Gunther versus AJ Styles. He comes out here to a rapturous response. And he says, don't worry about it. I'm going to beat Gunther. And we're going to start the phenomenal farewell tour. Another thing that WWE has done, you can hear the merchandise, right? So now I'm like, maybe he's not going to retire. And you've got John Cena posting on Instagram. They've like double bluffed it to the point I have no idea what they're going to do. And that deserves a lot of credit because that's super duper hard. I think someone said that AJ Styles' contract's up next week. Again, take it with a pinch of salt. Gunther comes out, laughs at this, promises to beat AJ Styles in the same way that he defeated John Cena, making him tap out. Styles then essentially says, hey, we're in the playground. It takes a bitch to know a bitch. They are going to fight, but they don't. But yeah, Styles is confident. Gunther looks a little bit rattled. I think what's going to happen, again, just totally pulling this out of my rectum, is that Gunther will try and tap AJ Styles out. He's not able to do it. We'll get a call back to the fake tap out by Gunther, which will tie in. But ultimately, Gunther will cheat, probably by whacking Styles right in the balls, and he pins him. So AJ Styles will retire. And then that's doubly horrible because, again, Gunther was so adamant, I'll make you tap out, I'll make you tap out. And then he had to be all dirty and horrible, especially when AJ Styles a couple of weeks ago said, well, I'll make you tap out. And he did, but the referee didn't see it. I'm going to hold my big AJ Styles speech off because I don't know. I don't want to go on my big, like, AJ Styles, I love you so much. And then he stays. So, okay. But one of the best ever. And I think the coolest thing about the way WWE has done this is it's reminded me what a game changer, what a hero he's been in the world of pro wrestling. So I'm excited for that match. And I know I'm going to be on tenterhooks. I'm going to be watching a horror movie. So it's crazy the 180 of the build to that match compared to everything else. But I mean, whatever, man. I'm still going to enjoy it. Otherwise, Carmelo Hayes versus, who the hell did he fight? Phoenix. Good match. I think we're going back to Ilya versus Carmelo to give him more promo time and let's create more story around this because it was separated from before. Enjoyed The Miz versus Ilya Dragunov. It just felt different. And what I'm realizing these days is, let's pair people together that we don't usually see to have a fight. I thought The Miz did well. Ilya Dragunov, of course, is absolutely nuts. We talked about Johnny Gargano versus Axiom. Super fun match. And Bron Breakker was going to be the number one entrant. And I think that was mostly everything. Oh, the MFTs and the Wyatts feud is continuing. That's dull. I'm just going to be as honest as I can be, which is strange because Solo Sikoa is one of my favorite wrestlers. I love both groups. I think the Wyatt Six bring something totally unique to Triple H's version of WWE, but nobody needs to see that rematch. Or I don't think so. When they announced it for next week, I was like, oh, okay, fine. And that's an issue, right? I think we need more fire, stakes on the fire. I also think the MFTs are going to do a Freebird rule because Solo gave his titles to the family, so anyone can do it. I think that's good because JC Mateo and Talatonga definitely kind of stand around doing a lot of nothing, so we should do more to them. SmackDown felt like 3 hours to me last night, though. Again, the opening sequence was too long, and there were just some other bits where you can tell, let's just kind of pad it out a little bit. And WWE doesn't need to do that because they have a bunch of super duper whooper stars, even like Trick Williams, right? Trick Williams got 1 minute to say, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble. And the Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace thing got 40 seconds. They just had a fight. Now, I think Jade Cargill will eliminate Jordan Grace from the Royal Rumble, and you'll be like, how is that possible, Simon? Jade won't be in the Rumble. That's the beauty of the Rumble. You can throw people out even if you're not officially in it, or if you've been eliminated. I will enjoy that. I like that rule. But your women's world champion in her feud to get 40 seconds max, again, goes over my bald head. Still, though, I would love to know what you thought about this. Like, it wasn't a bad SmackDown. Like, if we use my ups and downs ratio, which isn't actually meant to be. So if you get 6 ups and 5 downs, it doesn't necessarily mean it's an up show, right? It can still have something so bad on it, it drags it down. But amazingly, I never count these. I just do them in the moment. It got 5 ups and 5 downs. I think that's actually a fair representation this time. I thought it was distinctly average, which does make it disappointing because before the Royal Rumble, we always want to be as excited as we can be down in our pants. I'm still pumped, especially because of the UK. It's on at a normal time for the first time ever. Well, that brings about its own confusing questions as well, which we've talked about before. I won't do that again here. Let me know what you thought about SmackDown last week. Massively intrigued, because maybe I've got this one completely wrong. I so often do. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, click the video on the screen, which are my Royal Rumble predictions. Please do get them in now, because that'll be irrelevant come tomorrow, or I'll be totally wrong and you can laugh at me. Social media at Simon316, patreon.com/Simon316, gridofmine.com/Simon. It's all in the description down there, as is TikTok, Cameo, and Pro Wrestling Tees. Any support would rule. I really do appreciate it. And that's it. Enjoy the Royal Rumble, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow morning when we shall review it. I'm going Liv Morgan and Bron Breakker. We've made our predictions. Make yours. Goodbye.